Hey gang, welcome to week 10. We're trugging right along, getting closer and closer to some stuff. Yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. Sorry, I'm a little out of it this week. Anyways, so this week you're going to be looking at chapter 3 in the book. This one should help you kind of thinking about how things are fitting together, kind of piecing stuff. Both in terms of your research. So I've got all these different sources. How do they kind of fit together? How are they speaking to the same things? As well as I've got all these different sources that are fitting together, and I've got my ideas and my topic and my, kind of approach to this. How do they connect here as well? So these are all kind of questions that essentially your annotated bibliography will answer. So how do I... what's this about? How does it fit together with how am I going to use it? How does it fit with my topic, my thesis? And then how are they connecting together as well? So are things talking about the same thing? Are they talking about the same thing but a little bit differently? So you want to be thinking about all those different things. Think of all this research that you're doing as a conversation. All these authors are writing about things and they're hanging out at a coffee shop. And for right now, all you're really doing is kind of listening to their conversation and trying to see how all this stuff fits together, how are they talking about it together, and that kind of stuff. Your paper then, you're stepping into that conversation. You're saying, okay, well, you guys are all talking about this stuff. Here's what I have to add to this conversation. Okay, so this week is designed to kind of help jumpstart those connectivity things that you're going to be working on. If you haven't started working on your annotated bibliography, now is the week to start doing it. I believe it is due at the end of next week, so you've only got a couple of weeks left with that. The Writing Center is a great place if you're struggling with this, particularly in writing your annotations. Just take them the assignment sheet that's on the wiki page and sit down with what you've got, and they can help kind of work you through that. I'm happy to answer any questions as well. I've posted on this week's assignment description. There's a sample annotated bib somewhere and a thing from Purdue OWL as well on annotated bibliographies. For those of you that have the 8th edition, I think this is also the week that has, at the very end of the chapter, a section on annotated bibliographies as well. So there's some information in there. And then there is a sample annotation for how I want you to do it as well on that assignment, the annotated bibliography assignment description sheet. So it's lengthy. You're writing almost a full paragraph for each source that you have, because you need to talk about, quickly summarize it. So in 1 to 2 sentences, what is this source talking about? And be specific. If your topic is bullying, you can't just say, well, this is a source on bullying. No crap. I mean, sorry for, but duh. So how specifically is that text talking about bullying? What are they talking about? How are they approaching it? Are they talking about solutions? Are they talking about causes? So be specific. So that's one thing that your annotated bibliography, your annotation needs to do. The second thing is talk about how you're going to use it. How would you use this source? How does it fit into how you're thinking about the overarching topic? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? One thing that might happen in an annotated bibliography is you've got a source and it's like, I don't know that I would use this source. And that's okay too. If you come across something, you read it, and you don't think you're going to use it, explain why. Explain why it's not relevant. That's also an okay thing to do. And then the last thing is, how do they connect together? So this one is often confusing for some people. So I want to take a second here to explain it. Basically, what you are doing is you've got source that's written by John Smith, and it's talking about X cause of bullying. Okay, and then you've got another source by Cynthia Jones that is also about bullying, but is talking about a different cause. So is there an overlap in those causes? Do they disagree with each other? Is there a specific moment where Cynthia Jones references the John Smith article and says, well, no, actually, this person, I disagree, and here's why. Okay, so think about how these different sources you've got all around that are about a very broad, similar topic. How are they talking about having a conversation with each other? Where do they connect? Okay, so those are the three things you need to do. Summarize it. How does it fit with your paper? How are you planning on using it in your paper? And then the last thing is, how are they connecting together? Where are there moments of overlap between them? Okay, so that's basically what your annotated bib is going to be. At least 7 sources, each one annotated. MLA citations. So next week is when we're going to talk about the actual citation formatting and all that kind of stuff. For now, just be worried about reading the sources and working on the annotations, and then next week we'll put the finishing touches on just the specific annotations. The last thing that I want you to do this week, and this is completely optional, but I cannot recommend this enough that you do it. This will be beneficial both in terms of doing your research for this paper, but just in research in general, or just dealing with the amount of work that you have to deal with as a college student. I fully understand that I'm asking you to understand and annotate 7 sources on top of all of your other, your weekly exercises, the reading the chapter, on top of all of this other stuff. Okay, and so this optional exercise that I'm going to have you do is actually designed to get you practicing how to get through a source quickly. Okay, that doesn't mean quickly in terms of just speed. It means that with understanding. So how can you get through a source quickly but still have a general idea of what it's about, whether it's going to be useful, all that kind of stuff. All right? So what I want you to do is, and again, this is completely optional, but here's what you should do. So if you've got a source that is 30 pages or less, I want you to set a timer for yourself for 5 minutes. Okay? If you have a source that is 30 to 60 pages, set it for 10 minutes. 60 or more pages, set it for 15 minutes. So if you've got a whole entire book, you've got 15 minutes to read through that book. Okay? It sounds crazy. Even 30 pages in 5 minutes is daunting and crazy. But the reason that you're doing this, so if you can get through 30 pages in 5 minutes, know generally what it's about, know generally how it fits with your other stuff and how you might use it, okay? That means it should take you about 35 minutes to an hour to read through all 7 of your sources, okay? Again, this is a great skill to have. So what I'm asking you to do, if you choose to do this optional exercise, I would like you to comment on this video thread with some tips or things that you found were really useful for you, or if you struggled with it, talk about why you struggled with it. Just a quick, comment on this video thread in, not on YouTube, but on the wiki page, so where I post the link to the video. Go ahead and just make some comments there and share with each other. So what are some things that are working for you? What are some things that you're struggling with? I'll give you one tip, which is introductions are super valuable. Okay, introductions are super valuable, whether it's the intro paragraphs of a journal article, the intro chapter of a book, whatever that kind of introduction, it's going to give you a good summary of everything that's in there. But you're going to need specifics and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so once you've gotten through this, you've got a general sense, you know what it's about for the most part. you can kind of set it aside, and then once you go to actually start working on your paper, start needing, for a fact, I need to use this John Smith text. You know what it's about, you know where to look for stuff, and then you can go through it with a little bit more detail, a little bit more finesse, and kind of underlining and stuff. Okay? But the point of this is, how can I get through a text very, very quickly, but still get a good, solid idea for what that text is about? Okay, so practice that this week with your own research. Practice it with maybe this chapter from our book, or maybe some of your other readings from other classes. Can you get through stuff a little bit quicker to save room for some of the other more detailed kind of critical aspects of your assignments, rather than focusing all of your time on the reading, which can be time consuming. Okay, so again, completely optional, but this is going to be something that if you can practice this and get good at it, it will help you out immensely, just perpetually in the future. All right, so I think that's it for now. Again, obviously email me with any questions, concerns, and stuff that comes up. But other than that, I will talk to you guys next week.